In less than 10 years' time, our dollar has lost more than 40% against the euro. Back in the year 2000, 78 cents would have bought a euro. It recently hit $1.50. Now it's pulled back a little bit since then, but we're at today's values, we're down 40% from where we were a year ago. And this is due to loose fiscal policies. And if you're a history, are there any history majors here in the room? If you're a history major, then one of the things that you probably already know is that of the great societies of the world, the great democracies, what's brought them down is loose fiscal policies. From the Athenian Republic back in Greece through the British Empire of the 20th century, it was loose fiscal policies that had ended their era of greatness. And I want to give you an example from the not too distant past of the British Empire. Does anybody know how and when the British Empire ended as an empire? Of course, Britain is still there, but the empire is not. Anybody know? After World War II, that's right, sir. In 1946, which was the year after World War II, the Brits had survived 2 world wars within a 35-year period of time. Didn't really get much of a chance to rest and recover between those 2 world wars, but by 1946 they were insolvent. They owed $5 billion. Isn't that a cute little quaint number? $5 billion, we're going to owe 14 trillion at the end of this year. But they owed $5 billion, despite the fact that Britain had an empire, which it used to be said that the sun never set on the British Empire. They owned things all over the world, so the sun never set on the empire. They had a very enviable military position and an excellent economic position. But they came to the United States, President Truman was president, and they asked for a $5 billion loan at 0% interest, repayable over 50 years. And as generous as that might seem to you today, back then it was fairly commonplace. America said no. When the Brits were insistent, America agreed to a loan, but the terms of the loan ended the British Empire. The first term was that they would agree to abide by Bretton Woods, which made the dollar the dominant currency of the world, and the pound sterling would float against it. And the second would be that all duties and tariffs throughout the British Empire would be ended. America wanted this to make it easier to trade with the British Empire. Taken together, those 2 terms ended the British Empire within 2 years. By 1948, they were completely out of India, and they were well on their way to divesting everything that they had occupied in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, with the exception of Hong Kong. Now, I know I don't need to connect the rest of the dots. By the end of this year, we're going to owe $14 trillion. We're going to probably double that within the next 10 years if we don't make dramatic changes. At some point, the Chinese or somebody else will say, sure, we'll keep lending you money, but here are our terms and conditions, and we're not going to like it. In fact, if we don't take matters in our own hands, that which will be forced upon us is going to have a very unpleasant effect on all of society and all of our children and grandchildren. So we have to start behaving more responsibly.